Alright, welcome back everyone. We're here to talk about part 2 of the prediction. So we did just recently see a few of the cards that they're going to be rolling out in BT13. And first and foremost, I want to talk about my personal favorite from this pack so far, Yggdrasil 7D6. So already we see it right here. And boy doozy, does it have a unique and potentially game-changing skills. Okay, so first, Skill 1, Breeding Area, your turn. All of your Digimon cannot Digivolve. So, well, this deck just at point blank, you're not doing any Digivolution in it, so you can kind of guess you're going to be hard slapping a lot of Digimon down. So you're going to be playing a lot of Digimon from hand. Okay, so we'll see why this can work. But on to Skill 2, when Digivolving once per turn, when you play a Digimon card with Royal Knights and its traits from your hand, reduce its play cost by 5, and reduce the play cost by 1 for each of this Digimon's Digivolution cards. And you may be thinking, okay, since there's no Digivolution in this deck, how is this card going to get Digivolution cards under it? The skill right below it, Breeding Area, again, start of main phase, reveal 1 card from your Digi-Egg deck. And for the most part, if you're running an Yggdrasil deck, all 4 copies of your eggs are going to be more Yggdrasils. And then place that card and all of your Digimon in play with Royal Knights traits at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why this is potentially game-changing. This means this is the first Digimon, or Digitama, whose effects work in raising. It used to be raising was a kind of a safe zone. Nothing activated in it. Nothing can activate upon it. Now, Yggdrasil is changing that altogether. This Digitama is effectively going to be producing you dividends just by it staying in raising, which means your opponent can't do anything about it. Since it's in the raising area, unless they release more cards that can delete things in the raising area, which I really don't think they would, because that's a little bit too, well, we'll see where they go with that. But for the most part, this card is safe, so it's going to operate with pure impunity. And the longer it goes, the more benefits you're going to get. So we can already see it's inheritable, which it will be inheriting its own skills because you're Digivolving Digitama on Digitama, even though it's not really Digivolving. Once per turn, when an option card with Royal Knights in this trait is placed in the battle area, gain 1 memory. So right now, as of this moment, there's only 2 option cards that I know of that are Royal Knights in this trait. That's Jesmon GX's option card, and I'm just going to say Jesmon, but it's kind of Jesmon Gankumon's from Master Disciple card, which is a 2-cost option card. So with this, turn 2, you can play from Master Disciple for 1 cost and then search Sistermons, Huckmons, though you really won't be playing Huckmon in this deck for the most part, probably, and Royal Knights. So for 1 memory, you can search through your deck and just kind of filter. And then turn 3, you can do it for free. Not only that, that implies that there are not going to be any other option cards that come out with Royal Knights in his trait. I don't think that's the case. I think BT13, there will be a option card with Royal Knights in his traits that actually plays just like the 4 Great Dragons, Trial of the 4 Great Dragons, which lets you either play a Royal Knight for free or gives it rush. Because you're playing Royal Knights from your hand, reduce cost, but they can't attack the same turn they come into play. So there has to be some type of rush or some method to keep them on the field and disregards Yggdrasil's skill. That's the only way this deck is going to work. And I will like to point out that this is the first Digitama that I've seen that is a super rare. I think that's really neat, and quite frankly, I hope they release an art of it because I will be making this deck. There's no doubt in my mind. This is looking to be a really fun deck, and, well, it's going to drive, I predict it's going to drive up the cost of a good number of Royal Knights as it currently is. I've already seen some, like Kentorosmon, who has ridiculously gone up in value. And yes, he did also get a tamer that we'll get into a little bit later, but I foresee a lot of Royal Knights. You might want to scoop up a good number of them if you're planning on running either this deck or the other Royal Knights, because we are still getting more, because they might all be, well, double more than what they are paying for right now. All right, so first Royal Knight we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Craniumon. 13 cost, 13k DP, 5 to Digivolve, but I'm not, okay, just personal disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about these things from the point of view from an Yggdrasil deck, so we're not really caring about Digivolution costs. But it's there, their effects are on play and when Digivolving, so, you know, you got some versatility. But let's continue. It has blocker, it has on play. This Digimon isn't affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon until the end of your opponent's turn. So right when he comes into play, your opponent's Digimon can't touch him at all. And at the end of the opponent's turn, choose one of your opponent's Digimon. Your opponents must attack with the chosen Digimon. So already he has the same effect built in that Slayer Dramon somewhat has, except he does not have to suspend himself. Slayer Dramon says, suspend one Dramon in order to force your opponent's Digimon to attack. This one just says, no, end of turn, you must attack if you're on the field. And since it's a blocker, you're going to run straight into him. And since it's effect, you're not going to be able to blow him up with a Digimon effect. You're going to have to option him away. So that's really powerful and a really good start to the Royal Knights so far. And not only that, he has his option card in the Waltz. Until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon gains on your opponent's turn. When this Digimon is suspended, delete all your opponent's Digimon to play with a play cost less than or equal to this Digimon. In addition to, this Digimon isn't affected by your opponent's option cards. So already, this Digimon, Craniumon, is flexing his muscles, showing that once he comes on the field, if you play this option card and you have a Digimon on the field, anything that is less than 13 play costs is getting destroyed. That is bonkers. We can already see that this is going to be a humdinger of a pack, and the Royal Knights are getting the love and respect I think they deserve. So this is awesome. Awesome. Craniumon, I'm still going to say we might see the X antibody of him before we see it of any of the other Royal Knights. I may be wrong, but hey, I've already called there showing him some favor. So let's keep going. Right, next up, got another blocker. Gankumon. Gankumon, 13 play cost, 13k DP, just like Craniumon, is also a blocker. He has the on play when Digivolving. You may play one Digimon card with Sistermon in his name from your trash, or one Digimon card with Royal Knights traits from the Digivolution cards of one of your Digimon in the breeding area without a play cost. So, remember Yggdrasil's effect that says, at the start of the main phase, take all the Royal Knights that are in play and then tuck them nice and safely underneath its bosom? Gankumon is going to summon them back to battle. The only ones that he can't call is another Gankumon or Omnimon. And I mean, it makes sense that you won't be able to call Gankumon because you can spawn Gankumon to spawn another. So it'd be a little cheap and broken. And I'm very interested to see. I feel like the Omnimon is going to have such an overwhelming effect. It's probably going to have something to like the effect that Omnimon has when it uses all delete. Except Omnimon, well, let's back this up. If Omnimon's skill is similar to all delete, it will not truly affect you whatsoever, because all of your Royal Knights at the start of the main phase get tucked back under Yggdrasil, and if Omnimon comes to play and deletes the entire board, for the most part, you're probably only losing one Royal Knight, if any, and then at the start of the main phase, if Omnimon's still in play, which probably will be tucked right under Yggdrasil as well. We may start seeing all delete actually be viable in decks starting at BT13. That is that's a decent chance. I mean, it's early because we don't know what this Omnimon does, but the fact of the matter that they say you cannot specifically play Omnimon, it doesn't say you can't do Jesmon GX, which is also a level 7 Digimon. It just says Omnimon cannot be played with this effect. So Omnimon is more than likely going to be very, very tough to deal with moving forward. Okay, that's Gankumon. Let's keep going. All right, now before we talk about Gankumon's disciple, I want to talk about the Huckmon line that's coming out in this pack as well, and what its effects are telling us about what else might be coming in this pack. So we already see Huckmon, Bao Huckmon, and Jesmon have very similar effects. When you play a Digimon with Sistermon in his name, it allows you to Digivolve for relatively free. Not relatively free, but for a lot cheaper than you would be doing normally. And all their inheritables, except for Savior Huckmon, says when you play a Sistermon, gain a memory. So, it hints that we may be getting another Sistermon, i.e. maybe a Sistermon that grants Royal Knight's Rush when they come into play. That's a possibility. But, also, you might have OTK potential with Jesmon now. So, just hear me out. You have the Savior Huckmon in play with the Bao Huckmon and the Huckmon tucked nicely underneath it, and you have a Huckmon in raising area ready to move out. So your turn comes, you move that Huckmon out, you Digivolve in the Jesmon. When you Digivolve in the Jesmon, then you can attack with Blitz if you're using the starter deck one. And then the moment you attack with Blitz, you can use its effect to play a Sistermon, which will allow Huckmon to Digivolve into Bao Huckmon for free. And then its inheritable effect of Savior Huckmon will allow you to play another one to Digivolve that Bao Huckmon into a Savior Huckmon. And if you Digivolve in the Jesmon X antibody by playing the Sistermon CL that allows you to Digivolve on play, that will allow you to play one more Jesmon. One more Sistermon, which will allow that now new Savior Huckmon to Digivolve into Jesmon as well. So you could effectively get 2 Jesmons almost for free. Almost for free. So Jesmon might now be a OTK deck, kind of like how, not the same as Grandis, because Grandis has a little bit different of a toolbox, but Jesmon could start seeing a lot more play. If Jesmon deck can ever get that hit or miss that it has with the clunkiness with having all the Sistermons in it. But it is a good step in the right direction to making Jesmon even more powerful. If not the second most powerful Royal Knight, I think that's in the Digimon TCG as of this moment. Now, let's talk about the actual Jesmon that's coming out in this pack. So this Jesmon says, well, first, 11 cost to play, 11k DP, 3 to Digivolve, whatever, we don't care about that. But on play, when Digivolving, choose any number of your opponent's Digimon with a total DP that adds up to 6,000 or less and delete them. So it's kind of the same effect as when War Growlmon Digivolves into War Growlmon X, except you don't get memory of it. But in addition, for each other Digimon you have in play, add 2,000 to the maximum DP based deletion effects. So, if you're running this with a Sistermon deck, and Jesmon loves having his Sistermons with him, you can more than likely, if you have 1, delete at 8,000 or less, 2, 10k, and if you have 3, you're potentially deleting Megas just with him coming into play. It's pretty good. Pretty good. It's the first Jesmon that actually, when it Digivolves, tries to interact with your opponent's board. All the other ones were on Digivolve, play a Sistermon, gain Blitz, something to that effect. This one is looking to be a little bit more aggressive. Then it also has the All Turns effect. For each other Digimon with the Royal Knight trait or Sistermon in their names you have in play, all of your Digimon get plus 1,000 DP. So, this Jesmon is technically almost always going to be at 12k DP, unless you brick really hard. I foresee this making Jesmon GX price go a lot higher. I mean, Jesmon GX is already going to increase in price just because all these Royal Knights are coming into the scene, and Jesmon GX can digivolve off of any Royal Knight that exists outside of Omnimon, because Omnimon and Alphamon or Yukin mode, because they're level 7s and you have to digivolve from a level 6. But yeah, that Jesmon GX price is going to go up because of all these good Royal Knights that are coming out. All right, next, let's talk about the X-Antibody Digimon, i.e. Alphamon's crew. So first, let's talk about the new Doru Greymon. So this Doru Greymon has 8 cost to play, 8,000 power, 3 cost to digivolve, and it does have the when digivolving skill. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Place 1 card with the X-Antibody trait among them under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Trash the rest. And if a card is placed by this effect, you can't reduce this Digimon's DP until the end of your turn. So it does have a similar effect to the other Doru Greymon that is hit the 1, except it doesn't have the cannot be deleted by opponent's card effects. So it's a little bit, it's not as good, but it's good to the point where you can search your deck and tuck things, which the X-Antibody deck likes to do. It likes to tuck things under and make the biggest deck possible that it can to gain all those inheritable effects. And its inheritable effect, you may place 1 Digimon card with X-Antibody trait from your hand under this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card. So we haven't seen the rest of the Doru Greymon line, but it's safe to assume every time you tuck, I'm going to say Dorumon because Dorumon is the best thing to tuck under right now for the Alphamon line, because it keeps gaining you memory each time you tuck something under. But you get to do it again. And if you have Yuji, just in one turn, you can tuck 3 cards under that Digimon and gain 3 different or 3 of the same effects. So you can tuck Orumons, you can tuck Dorumons, you can tuck, oh gosh, I forget what Greymon does, but I believe his effect is very Alphamon specific, and I think it deletes 5 costs or something less deep, 5 cost or less DP Digimon on your opponent's side of the board. So you're gaining a lot of benefit just from having this Digimon is in the sources. But another thing, since we are getting another Dorumon, we might start seeing more Dex Dorumons coming into play, because really you couldn't run Dex Dorumon because we were limited to 1 Doru Greymon. But that might be changing, and maybe, though, unless they introduce some more support for it, we may start seeing Dex Dorugoromon come into the scene, and that deck might be a little bit more viable. But still, we do have the new Alphamon, which is what we're really here to talk about, which is a 12 cost to play, 12k DP Digimon, 4 cost to digivolve, on play when digivolving by placing 1 Digimon card with the X-Antibody trait or 1 Royal Knight trait from your trash under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution cards. All of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 10 or less cannot attack players until the end of the turn. So we are already seeing the current revealed Royal Knights are very defensive in nature, other than Jesmon, who is the only offensive one thus far. So the Yggdrasil deck is looking very, very sturdy, but for right now, it doesn't have much of a bite because there's no rush. There's no rush yet. So we're still waiting on that. But let's continue to talk about Alphamon. All turns once returned when this Digimon would leave the battle area due to an effect by returning 1 Digimon card with X-Antibody or Royal Knights in its traits from this Digimon Digivolution card to the bottom of your deck. Prevent it from leaving play. In other words, if Alphamon has a Digivolution source and Yggdrasil calls Alphamon home, Alphamon can exercise its rebellious streak, trash the bottom one, well, not trash, put it to the bottom of the deck, and say, no, I'm going to stay and play for a little bit longer. And this card can even stop one of the best option cards, Chaos Degrade, because it doesn't specify how it's leaving play. It just says it prevents it from leaving play. This Alphamon is going to cause Oryukin mode to jump in price. because Oryuken modes only bane of existence were security bombs that either put it to the top of security or bounced it back to the hand. It was the only way that card was going. So now that they have this Alphamon, yeah, we're gonna start seeing a lot more Alphamon players and Oryuken modes come right back in the scene. So other people have already seen this. Other people have already predicted this. So, well, we probably should have scooped up some Alphamon, some Oryuken modes back when they were still trending pretty low. I think they were like $5, maybe $10. Now I think they're back up to $30. Kind of missed a chance, but hey, we might still get more X antibody reveals that just stimulates that even more. So it may still be a nice time to pick up X antibody before they reveal the whole kit and caboodle and people just double down on it. Just saying. All right, so we talked about the Royal Knights that we currently have, or the Royal Knight support that we currently have. Let's talk about the obvious ones that we knew were coming. So, of course, this is a very Digimon Season 5-ish pack, or Digimon Data Squad, or Digimon Savers, however you wanted to call it. So, we knew we were more than likely going to get another Agumon, Geogreymon, Raj Greymon, and, well, surprise, surprise, we got another Marcus, too. First up, let's talk about this Agumon. So Digivolve Zero from Koromon. Yeah, we want Digimon to stay in their story-related Digivolution path, or you're going to play extra to Digivolve. So yeah, they want you to Digivolve from Koromon. But start a main phase. For the turn, treat one of your Marcus Damon's cards as a 3000 DP Digimon that cannot Digivolve. Once per turn, when one of your red or yellow tamers is suspended, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. Excuse me. So, okay. It's fine. I mean, it's not too great by itself. Let's move on. Rise Greymon. 7 cost to play, 7000 DP, 4 cost to Digivolve, but who are we kidding? We're almost always going to Digivolve from Geogreymon. There's enough of them that are in the scene right now. Really don't have any excuse to not do it. Unless, you want to make this deck really, really unique. But when Digivolving, you may play one Marcus Damon from your hand without playing his play cost. And all turns, when one of your red or yellow tamers is deleted, place one Marcus Damon from your trash to the top of your security stack, face down. So if your opponent wants to delete any of your tamers, i.e. Marcus Damon, willy-nilly, it's just going to go right back up. So it's like a free heal if your opponent doesn't deal with this Raj Greymon and Marcus. And then not only that, all turns. When one of your red or yellow tamers is deleted, place Marcus, trash, to top of security stat. So even if Raj Greymon is on the field, the Shine Greymon is going to have the same inheritable effect. If, well, you're more than likely running the Shine Greymon deck, so I'm just going to assume that. So, we already see Marcus Damon is not going away, and he's going to be coming back into the scene unless you trash him from the top of the security stack. That's the only way you're getting him out of it without proccing him at least once. And let's talk about Marcus. Start a turn. Memory Setter. All right, sets us to 3. Great. Awesome. He's 5 costs, but, he's a dual color memory setter, and I believe he's the first dual color memory setter that we've had. I mean, we've had Mirai, which was a 5-cost dual color tamer, but she just gave you 1 memory. Marcus, not only that, has an on-play skill, doesn't seem too great by itself. On-play, suspend this tamer. So, okay. Now what? All turns, when this tamer becomes suspended, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. So, let's assume that you've Digivolved your Agumon into Geogreymon. So now, Geogreymon has the inherited effect when one of your red or yellow tamers is suspended, which Marcus Damus will do when he comes into play. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. When Marcus becomes suspended, he reduces a Digimon's DP by 3000, which means if you have Geogreymon and Marcus Damon, which just recently came into play, you can delete a 6000 DP or less Digimon. And if you keep Digivolving up the line, because we're going to assume that Geogreymon has a similar effect that will either add to the amount that you can delete, i.e. raise it from 3,000 to maybe 5,000, or its inheritable will have a similar effect to Marcus, which says reduce your opponent's DP by X amount. So that's a safe bet. That's a safe bet, but that's not it. Marcus also has, then, if one of your Digimon has Agumon or Greymon in his name, gain a memory. So, you can play Marcus effectively if you have an Agumon or any of its line in play. Marcus is a 4-cost tamer and not 5. Because he comes into play, he immediately suspends himself, and then even if you don't DP delete something or delete something with one of the Agumon's effects, you're gaining a memory regardless. This is pretty nice. So I'm just going to make a bet. I'm just going to make a assumption that the Rise Greymon the Shine Greymon that's coming out in this pack will either delete Marcus to gain some effect, or the burst mode may do it. Something like delete a Marcus Daemon and then delete the highest DP Digimon on your opponent's side of the board, and then the inheritable effects will bring him back and then pop something else. That's my prediction, but I think it's a safe bet. Alright, but Marcus isn't the only tamer that we got in this pack. So, the other tamer we got was Richard Sampson. His effect is, when this card is trashed from your security stack bound effect, play this cost without playing its play cost. So, if it's in the security, unless you take it out yourself, this card is getting played at some point. Because your opponent can't trash it away. When they swing, it's coming into play because that's a security effect. This is almost the first guaranteed security card that we have in the Digimon TCG for right now. It has the start of your main phase skill. If the total cards in both player security stacks is 6 or less, gain 1 memory. Okay, decent. So good mid to late game card. And then main skill. By suspending this tamer, if the total cards in both player security stacks is 6 or less, you may digivolve one of your Kudamon. Kudamon has recently blown up in price because of this tamer. And so has Kentorusmon. And that's because Kudamon can digivolve from itself into Kentorusmon in your hand, ignoring its Digivolution requirements and without paying its Digivolution cost. So you get a free warp Digivolve. That is amazing. You can go from 0 to 100. And depending on whatever new Kentorusmon comes out, which more than likely is going to have a bonkers effect because all the Royal Knights thus far has had bonkers effects, this is going to... Kentorusmon might actually be its own legitimate deck by itself soon. Because if we look at the current Kentorusmon that's in existence, that's for some reason is shot up from $5 up to $15. Glad I got my copies before the nonsense started. But when digivolving, up to 5 of your opponent's Digimon gain security attack -2 until the end of your opponent's turn. Alright, so that's a good, nice, just stop what you're doing. So this card might work pretty well with, I don't know, popular Venusmon. Because it's just go from rookie straight into mega, security attack minus blankets on whatever Digimon's in play, and on deletion, if you're running the promo Kudamon, gets to DP delete something that's a 12k or less. But that's only if you have the Kudamon, making Kentorusmon pretty decent. Pretty decent. The fact it can just right into a mega. That's nice. That's nice. I'm really liking the addition of these tamers. I hope that they add something, not one of each for like each Royal Knight. I like Kentorusmon has this very specific one because I feel like, yeah, Kentorusmon after what he went through in Digimon Savers, he deserved a little bit of love. All right, so next one, last tamer that we have on the list, we have Homer. Oh my gosh, my Japanese. Homer Yushima? Homer Yushima, I think's the name. Alright, so 3 costs to play. On play, you may play 1 blue, level 3 Digimon card from one of your Digimon Digivolution sources without paying its play cost. Okay, that's nothing new. We've seen that. Aegismon does it all the time. Leopardmon does it as well. Except he says level 4 or lower. This Homer also has the skill, all turns, when you play a blue Digimon, you can suspend this tamer to place one blue level 4 or lower Digimon card from your hand under that Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. So, there are two possibilities. Either A, we will be seeing more Siegramon or Siegramon, or let me say Aegismon, support another Metal Siegramon, or the new Leopardmon will have an effect that is similar to, oh gosh, I believe it's Plesiamon's effect that just allows you to continuously spawn from its sources. I think I'm leaning more towards we're going to get more Siegramon support just based off this. We'll see. But either way, currently that is all the information that we have for the cards that are in BT13. So use this information to decide if you're going to lean into one of these Digimon that's been revealed thus far, or some of the potential Digimon that are going to come out. I already, as I said before, got all 4 copies of Lilamon because I really think that we're going to get another Lilamon, Lilymon, Sunflowermon line, and we're going to get another Yoshino Tamer. So, if you want to play that deck, you might want to grab some now before they reveal it and the price bubbles. So, either way, use this information as you can and decide where you're going to go. Either way, everyone, thank you for joining in, making it all the way to the end. And I hope and wish every one of you a good and pleasant day. Until the next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.